Welcome to another episode of the Game Theory Podcast. This is episode 70, and we're talking about pacing in games and time. Time is a consideration, kind of, as a currency. So,
Time is on my mind.
and I'm laughing because David was kissing his biceps during the pre-show. So
There's a little something just for Jeremiah. You guys don't get to see that.
that was a love story between a man and his muscles.
My rippling pectorals.
So last week was the first week in a while that we've split the episode into two, and we got to complain about it, but we also got some compliments on it, and it actually worked out pretty good because, as it turns out, the majority of our audience does kind of listen to our main content, and the news and reviews, I guess they're not so interested in, but it's about a third to a fourth of the listeners listen to the intro news and reviews. So for those of you that joined us for this part, thank you, welcome.
Yes,
And,
the true believers.
The true believers. Just watching something.
I think
about
Anne Frank would have been a believer.
Yeah, you think so?
Did you hear that interview?
No.
Justin Bieber, he was like at the Anne Frank Museum, and he's like, I like to think that she would have been a believer. He like wrote that in the little sign-in book.
Oh, are you kidding me? What a douchebag. Is he kidding?
Mm.
She can't listen to music, man. She's in like Nazi. If she turns on the music, she's done.
No, but she was a fan of pop culture of her time. And, maybe she would have been a believer. There's no way to tell.
Okay, we'll just say yes. All right. You give me that one, Justin. You get one.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the best thing to say at the Anne Frank Museum when you're looking at horrific reminders of human brutality, but hey, he's Justin Bieber. He brings joy to a lot of believers.
It's hard to turn off your self-absorption. It's true. Oh, man. Let me see. Okay, well, so, what's up with you? What's new, man? With me, it's just, well, actually, yeah, what's up? What's new with you?
I got a new phone, and it's gigantic. It's enormous.
That is a gigantic phone.
It's face size. I can FaceTime with it, and it's the size of my face.
Is that a new iPhone?
Yeah, it's the iPhone 6 Plus. I don't have a tablet, so I figured two birds with one stone, get them both at once. I've had my smartphone was like one of the first smartphones ever. It was like the Generation 2 model when they came out. So I've had it for years, and it's just now getting to the point where it doesn't quite work anymore. Because I guess unlike 1980s Game Boy technology, smartphones don't age as well.
Ugh. Oh, man. That reminds me of in marketing. They used to, there's actually a variable called MTBF, mean time between failure.
Mm-hmm.
And what you do is you actually manipulate that variable so that people have to buy a new model whenever you want them to, whenever you're ready, basically. So
Yeah.
It's pretty shitty.
It is pretty bad. So I was proud of myself for keeping the same phone for so long, but it's getting to the point where it just doesn't. It takes like 5 minutes to load up an app, and I'm like, okay, I'll upgrade finally. So, but the exciting thing is, one of my students gave me a gift card for iTunes, so I've been customizing everybody's ringtone, just like going through and purchasing ringtones with it, because I don't listen to music, so podcasts are free. So yeah, your ringtone is the Mega Man 2 Dr. Wily theme.
Sweet.
Yeah, thought you'd like that. And your text tone is the sound of finding a secret in the NES Zelda game.
Yeah. Oh, I've been wanting that. I just don't. I don't ever mess with my phone because I always keep it on vibrate. Because way too many times I've had it on like loud, and then like in the middle of someone. This one time, this couple was fighting, and they're like, you don't care about anything. I was like, no, hang on. And my phone went. It was the Game of Thrones theme, so I was like, bum bum ba da dum bum ba da dum bum, and it's in my bag like across from me. So I was like, excuse me, and I like went over there and turned it off. Oh man, that was a little embarrassing, but
anyway. A little bit heroic though.
Yeah, a little bit heroic too.
And I have a lot of ringtones that are just R2, various cheeps and whistles and beeps, but I've got them like individually for like different people who text me pretty often. So I've learned which beeping sounds correspond to which person. So when my phone goes off in class, like if I forget to mute it, it's like beep, 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 beep. I'm like, oh yeah, that's so and so. And they're like, wait, you speak binary? And I'm like, yeah, I know what he's saying.
It's not true, R2. Why did Luke speak droid? That didn't make any sense.
Oh, it's a useful skill when you're on the fringe. You got all these broken down moisture converter evaporators, and you don't know how to talk to them, and you don't always have a protocol droid on hand to translate. So
why not?
Binary.
And why can't you? I mean, like my phone can speak to me right now. Why didn't they put a voice in R2D2?
Hey, in the future, voice modulation technology is really expensive.
Okay. Well, that's fun. Well, anyway, nothing's really new up with me. I am making a campaign, which is fun, for the gaming retreat we're having soon at your house. So that's been pretty interesting. Getting reacquainted with fourth edition stuff.
It's like slipping
Played
on an
more
old pair of
tiers before.
gloves.
Huh?
Is it like slipping on an old pair of gloves?
It is, yes. An old pair of gloves. Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I love world building. It's fun. You go on a run. You just kind of like let your mind wander, and you think of cool scenes and cool principles. I don't know. It's fun. But anyway, yeah. So I guess we can. If that's pretty much wraps up that, we can move into recent news. All right, this is the recent news section where we talk about things that are happening right now that are relevant to gaming in general. So, what do you got, man? What have you seen that's caught in your eye?
All right. Well, this was a pretty interesting. Have you heard about the game that's being developed called Life is Strange?
No.
It looks pretty interesting. It's coming from Don't Nod Entertainment and Square Enix, and you play. It's about two girls, and they're in high school, and the protagonist is trying to rewind time to solve a friend's disappearance. So it's like a time travel mystery.
What?
It's going to be
I've never heard.
episodically released. The first one's coming out January 30th.
Wait, episodically. This isn't Telltale, is it?
No, no, but it's kind of the same kind of style. Like it's doing that coming out in episode style.
Huh. Okay.
But so what was interesting about the story is, like, first of all, it's a video game with female protagonists. That's pretty rare. Well, apparently the publishers, Don't Nod Entertainment, are the guys who are making it. They were looking for a publisher, and they shopped it around. And every place they went, they were all like, yeah, let's change the protagonist to men. You can make the lead a male. We'd be on board. And it wasn't until they got to Square where Square was like, they didn't even question it. They're like, cool, yeah, let's do it.
Huh.
So apparently there is still a lot of misogyny in the old in the publisher side of things. Like there's a doubt, and we see this in film too. There's a doubt that a female main character can carry a franchise or a production or a movie or a game. Like when Bridesmaids came out, everybody was
Yeah.
like blown away because like, what? That was funny? We didn't think it'd be funny because women aren't funny. And then they still had to go through a lot of like hoops before a Bridesmaid 2 could happen. Whereas we've had like The Hangover Part 12 at this point.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought it was kind of a nice behind-the-scenes look of like Square not being dicks and just being like, okay, cool, yeah, two girls, let's do it, let's publish this.
Well, good. Yeah, and it's about time. It's like whenever women first broke into comedy, like, well, you already mentioned that, but like as comedians, like stand-up comedians, like a lot of people wouldn't hire them because they're like, girls can't be funny. But
Yeah, dames can't make jokes.
they're too busy messing with their uteruses. I don't know what the excuse is there, but I mean, I guess guys are kind of a little, at least culturally so far, we've been kind of a little more, I don't know, crass, or we take, I don't know, make more jokes,
I
take
think
life a little less
there's more
seriously.
social reinforcement for the funny kid in class if he's a guy.
There's less.
There's more. Like
More, yeah.
the class clown, like he tends to get away with it. I don't know why that is.
Yeah,
But
boys will be boys.
yeah, whereas women are just girls are taught to be more just like respectful. I don't know.
And really, that's part of the whole, like, it depends on how you approach it, depending on which side of sexism it is. Is it male? Is it sexist against males because we're expected to be rough and tumble and and take that kind of thing, even if we're kind of soft natured, we're expected to toughen up. Like my son, my eldest son, like I had to teach him to stop crying basically when he got hurt because it's like at school kind of got him looked at funny basically. And he's kind of losing friends over that because he was seen as like a crybaby. So it's just difficult. Whereas like a girl, you don't have to do that. Like if they cry and they get hurt,
You don't
so
tell them
what?
to man up.
Yeah, yeah. But now
Well,
it's like
that's
whenever I teach them like to rub it or rub around it, which has to do with neuroscience. I could talk about that someday. But anyway,
yeah, just rub one out, kid. Rub one out.
just rub it out, son. That's all you gotta do. No, when you get pain, you
Yeah.
rub around the area and stuff like that. And I was like, that'll take some of the pain away, and you won't feel like crying. And just crying help. A little functional analysis of it. What does that do? All it does is make you look like it really really hurts. And if you look like you're tough, people respect you more. But it's shitty. It's shitty that we have to do that.
a bitch.
I'm not
Duralius.
free.
Yeah,
Duralius and Associates.
it is true. Well, that's why they say sexism hurts everybody, right? Like,
Yeah.
anytime you've got these gender
Well,
roles that you don't fit into, then you get hurt.
do they say that? How many people say that? Because my history has not always been everybody saying that. There's a
I've
group of
heard
people
I've
who
heard a
say
lot
that.
of prominent lesbians, feminists say,
Wow.
patriarchy hurts everybody. Emma Watson, that was one of her main things in her UN speech she gave.
Yeah, she's definitely not an extremist, so I agree. And it's
Yeah,
just like the men's rights folks where, there's just idiots. And then there's some people where you're like, oh, you're pretty well reasoned. Okay, good.
right.
So I think it's a
So
label
yeah,
thing.
I'll update my statement. Reasonable people say
Yeah,
sexism hurts everybody.
exactly. Yeah. Well, in the news on my portion, so I'm a big fan of Sons of Anarchy, the show.
Hmm.
Big fan of that. Love it. Love the main character. That guy. He's kind of he's pretty cool, even outside of, like when celebrities like come off the camera, you just never know if they're gonna be like cool or, just complete douchebags.
Hmm.
And it seems like a real crapshoot. There's almost no way to predict, but he's actually really cool. Charlie Hunnam. Funny guy, pretty goofy. Seems like a good person. But anyway, they're making a game out of that. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I just heard mention of it. What's it gonna be, like a action game or what?
It's like you're a pledge basically, or what do they call them? Patchin. You're basically like pledge where you're trying to get into the Sons of Anarchy and you kind of have to prove yourself and your loyalty. So you go on a couple missions and that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe kill a guy, kill a snitch.
Yeah. And kill a snitch. I didn't think much of it except that the series producer, the guy who made Sons of Anarchy, the show, actually was like, oh no, it's going to be really good. And so I was like, what? Because it's on the tablet and like the phone, it I didn't know if it was just a phone in, just to get a little extra cash. But I saw the trailer and it was just confusing. The first trailer came out. It's pretty weird. It's just like so it shows him like pick up a gun and kind of move it around, and then like shows it like driving on a motorcycle, but you can't tell if you're like steering it or if it's a cutscene. And there doesn't seem to be anything on the screen, no heads-up display or anything. And then it's like got first-person smoking, which is what the whole internet's all up in arms about. They're like, first-person smoking, the first game to do this. It just shows you light a cigarette. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think I'm gonna buy this game, even though I love the series. It
Oh,
it feels like kind of like those Transformers games, not Fall of Cybertron, but the one based off the new movies. It feels like a cheap ploy.
lazy tie-in.
Yeah.
Well, is there a level where you get to go to Ireland to find your kidnapped son?
No, but I love Irish accent.
I hated that whole like storyline. It's like, get out of Ireland, go back to being badasses in the desert. That's what you're good at.
Yeah, and it's almost like you. I don't know. Like, okay, so you got the IRA, right? The Irish Republic Army. And they Irish Republic Army. I think that's right. Yeah. The IRA. They're like unquestionable badasses. People are like, whoa, those guys are tough. And then you see Hell's Angels. You almost don't want to see them collide. It's almost like the age-old Superman versus Hulk. Whoever loses, I'm gonna be a little upset because I'm gonna be like, oh, Superman could have done a little better, even though I think Hulk might win. I don't know. You actually don't want to see it. It's more of good as a legend, I think, seeing it on screen. But who knows? So that's my take. So if anyone ends up getting that game, whenever it comes out, I guess just let us know on the Facebook page or something, because I probably won't be playing it.
So, more sad news, Nintendo is pulling out of Brazil. They'll no longer sell consoles or games there.
Really? Why?
They said that was about high tariffs on electronics. So basically, Brazil really taxes the crap out of stuff going into their country, and they also blame challenges in the local business environment, high import duties, and our decision not to have a local manufacturing operation. So they'll continue to distribute products elsewhere in South America, but not for Brazil.
Oh, weird, man. So Brazil is like uniquely bad in that?
Yeah, like for example, the Wii U. Like it launched in America, it was like I think $300 at launch, or 350. In Brazil, it was the equivalent of $830 when it came out, and now it's down to $700.
And that's just because they have certain taxes on it?
Yeah, that's cheaper than the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. What those sell for in Brazil, like just electronics being imported into the country apparently get taxed like to hell.
That's weird. Oh, they're trying to stimulate their own economy, I guess. Try to get.
Yeah, just really high tariffs. So like Microsoft actually opened up a factory there, so they could produce Xboxes there pretty cheaply. but they're still selling. Xbox One sells for $1,500 in Brazil,
Jeez.
and or sorry, $800, and the PlayStation 4 is $1,500.
Wow. Okay.
So Nintendo's like, yeah, we're out. They say Brazil's an important market for Nintendo and home to many passionate fans, but unfortunately, these challenges make a distribution model in that country unsustainable.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Um. Yeah. So, so you heard about the game Evolve?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a chance to play in the beta. I played it a little bit, and it's actually it's a beautiful game, but I didn't get into a good group, so we lost like the few times I played, and I didn't quite understand my kit. There was no like uh, teaching phase, which maybe in the final game there will be, but basically it's like jump into versus, good luck. And so I'm sure I was that noob. I came in and I was just got wrecked by the enemy alien thing. So we're hunting it down. It's actually pretty cool. Like you get to see its little tracks, and you're like, oh, it's getting bigger. It's eating these animals and stuff. And you're chasing after it, and it's kind of like this. It's almost like I don't know, like something. Yeah, like some kind of alien breaks loose that gets bigger and stronger like the further it goes, and so you got to try to find it fast. So it's good for pacing, which is the point of this episode. But yeah, I didn't understand the game, so I got wrecked when it finally turned and fought us. It was like, okay, it's time. I was just like, all right, so I think I went support, and so I started healing a couple. Yeah, I did. I was healing some people, and I just got wrecked. I just got wrecked. So I don't really understand. But anyway, they're doing something pretty controversial. So pre-ordering, right? There's the theme of 2014, and that's what?
Glitchy AAA titles.
Yeah, like don't pre-order because of that.
Yeah.
So they're trying to make things more enticing, but I think they went a little overboard and Evolve. They're offering new characters, like as that's going to be kind of their DLC or their way to keep it profitable.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but they're offering 4 hunters or something, or basically they were going to release like 7 characters, and they ended up holding back 4 and only going to give it to the people with pre-order. So people are pretty pissed about that because that's pretty shitty. Like, it's like when DLC came out, the biggest cry that everybody said was don't rip off of the $60 to add to the DLC,
Right.
Because we want the full game, and they clearly did that here, and so people are getting a little upset about that. I don't know. Do you have any interest in Evolve?
No, not really. I didn't have any interest in Titanfall either. I'm just not like the concept of asymmetrical multiplayer is kind of cool. Like I like the idea, especially on the Wii. You can do a lot of things with like one person having their own little screen, or or PC gaming where everyone's got their own screen. Like those kind of games where everyone has their own thing that no one else is looking at. Like you can make some really interesting asymmetrical games that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just not really into first-person shooters in general anyway. So just as like we got the beta, I was like, yeah, I'll check it out, and then I forgot to.
Oh, okay. So no interest at all. Yeah, I like asymmetrical shooters for sure. Like Natural Selection 2, huge fan of. So I was actually kind of looking forward to this, but I played it and I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to just invest some time into it, and time is kind of a valuable commodity, which we're gonna be talking about today. So, yeah. Anything else in the news for you?
Yeah, this is not so much a news story, but IO9 did a list of the best villain voice actors of all time. And since you're a voice acting connoisseur, you love voice acting, I thought I'd run them by you. First of all, who would you put as the best voice actor for a villain?
Oh, I mean, this sucks because it's a character role, so like it's gonna gloss over a lot of the nuanced people, but I'm gonna have to say Troy Baker with or Mark Hamill with the Joker. But since Mark Hamill's not in the business anymore, I'd say Troy Baker's Joker was really good.
This one was of all time, and Mark Hamill's the Joker did definitely make the list at number 1. So
nice.
Yeah, he got that. His ability to go from like murderous rage to like gleeful bad jokes back to rage again, like in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like it was just brilliant the way he pulled that off. He's still my favorite Joker. Number 2 was Lex Luthor's Superman, just from the menace he had. Lex Luthor, Clancy Brown as Lex Luthor in Superman the Animated Series. He had that kind of like very calm menace, like, and just him interacting with the Joker was always fun, right? Like, why should I let you join the League of Villains? Because I bring something that no one else can. I know how the Bat thinks. So those like dialogue exchanges were always super fun.
Yeah, he is a cool like foil, I guess, to the other insanity on the team.
Yeah,
he's just that kind of evil that that you could see every day. You know, like he's not like an insane person. He's just, in fact, arguably he's right. Like,
Yeah.
he,
Considering how often Superman goes evil, like, yeah, we should probably have some countermeasures for that.
exactly.
And then number 3 was Jeremy Irons playing Scar from The Lion King.
Yeah, that's good.
And they made the
Nice.
point, they're like, wouldn't it have been cool if they were able to use Irons for other Disney villains? Like, can you imagine him as Jafar?
Yeah, that would be cool.
And then, yeah.
Dude, did you know Scar actually had a name before he got his scar?
Yeah, it was like
Taka, I think.
Taka, yeah. And it was...
Yeah. And Mufasa means king, I think, and Taka, his brother, means garbage. No wonder he got so pissed at the pride. He's like,
no
fuck
wonder he
those
was like,
guys.
yeah, call me Scar now. That's way cooler.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, literally anything, even like a traumatic incident. I'll be named for that. Oh, a horrible bicycle accident? Yes, better than garbage. Horrible bicycle accident, it is.
there was a villain character on The Simpsons this season who was like an evil new teacher, and he was being interviewed by Principal Skinner, and he's like, "Did I ever tell you how I got this scar?" And he was like, "What scar?" And he's like, "This one." And he like cuts his face right in front of him, and he's like, "I got it in this school right now." He's like, "Oh, geez, okay, yeah, you're hired."
Oh my gosh, so hardcore.
He's so hardcore. So number 4 was Douglas Rain as HAL 9000 from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Oh, I never saw that.
I can't let you do that. Yeah, it's pretty classic. Then I don't know, some Harry Potter character was number 5. Helena Bonham Carter as Bellatrix Lestrange.
So not Wheatley? I was hoping Wheatley would be on there for Portal 2.
Yeah, no.
Evil.
No Wheatley, and no GLaDOS either, which was sad. But Chris Latta made the list. He was a Cobra Commander in Starscream on those old 80s cartoons. He was the shrill, raspy voice of evil for many children.
That's such a shitty voice, though. I hated that. Like, Shredder was better than that. Because at least Shredder was, like, brooding and menacing, you know?
Yeah.
He's turtles. You know, it's Uncle Phil from...
Yeah, it's Will Smith's uncle. He's scary.
Yeah.
James Earl Jones is Darth Vader, obviously.
Yeah, oh yeah. Man, that didn't make number 1?
That was number 7. Like, it's a weird list. Like, this guy came in after Cobra Commander.
That's stupid. That's dumb. Like, Joker maybe could top, you know, Darth Vader because it's equally as iconic, but if you hear this voice, you know, like, I can't do it that deep, but if you hear it, you're like, oh, Darth Vader. Like, it nailed it. They even got a different voice actor than the body actor because it was
just make it perfect, yeah. And then and they didn't tell the body actor, and he found out in the theater, which is really sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like watching it. He had all his friends like, "This is the movie I'm in. I'm the bad guy." And no, it's Darth Vader. It's James Earl Jones' voice over all of his lines.
Man. Well, I heard his voice, and it was a little too high pitched. Like, he kind of talked, kind of like me. I'm a very menacing bad guy.
No, but you know who is? Ron Perlman as Deathstroke / Slade Wilson on Teen Titans.
Oh, he plays... Oh, I never saw Teen Titans. That's cool.
Yeah, Teen Titans is weird. It's like part anime, part like... It's the same production team that did Batman the Animated Series and, Batman and Robin.
Really?
But kind of a different spin on it, like more of an anime spin. I think it's the same production. You'll have to check on that, but it's definitely the same company. And... Ron Perlman just nails like this menacing, like he's playing Slade, like he's the main bad guy, and he's kind of doing this kind of nemesis for Robin because he's sort of an evil doppelganger of Batman, you know, like he's a dark, menacing father figure.
Oh yeah.
And it's just really great, like the tension, like that show balances comedy and just dark, tense, like just darkness really well.
Oh, something we're gonna be talking about too in our episode. Oh, spoilers. Yeah, Ron Perlman. He plays a bad guy in Sons of Anarchy too, which we just talked about, and he just plays. It's so good. Like,
yeah, he does a good villain.
Which is weird because, like, you know, otherwise I always saw him as like kind of a lovable character. I don't know why. Like, as the Enemy at the Gates, he was that Russian sniper with the wooden teeth, and like, you know, he's this lovable character. And whenever he bites the bullet, almost literally, it's sad, you know. And so that's weird. I just like his character in general.
Yeah.
What was that? Godzilla or something? He was there too, or was it Godzilla? What movie was that where he had really fancy like clothes and he was like some kind of
Pacific Rim?
Pacific Rim, maybe that was it. Was it Pacific Rim?
He was in
and
Pacific
he buys
Rim.
something out of him.
Yeah, he was like a criminal underboss in Pacific Rim.
That's it, yeah, Pacific Rim.
And of course Hellboy.
Yeah, That was cool. I never really got into the ethos, I guess, of Hellboy. I liked the movies, but I never really read the comics before, so I wasn't really pumped about them. So when I saw
There were
World
some
Permanent,
cool
I was like,
Hellboy cartoons on Netflix if you like that kind of there's a secret world underneath the streets kind of feel. Like there's some good ones there.
really? Oh man, I'll go look this up actually.
So the next one on the list was John Hurt as the Horned King. Do you remember the Black Cauldron?
Yeah, I mean vaguely.
Okay, well he had a really sick undead lich voice that was just really creepy. A lot of people nowadays will know him from Doctor Who, but he was a pretty creepy lich king. And then Powers Booth as Gorilla Grodd from Justice League. And then this one was interesting. Eleanor Audley as Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, and they make a good point because Sleeping
Yeah,
Beauty was not like one of the greatest Disney movies, and it's not very memorable. But she is like the greatest Disney villain of all time somehow.
yeah. Okay, I can see that. Plus, she had like a cool. I don't know. She had like the kind of voice that like. I mean, it's almost like equivalent of Lex Luthor. It was like this calm, like
Kind of
like very,
sinister.
yeah. I don't know, man. Like
There was a lot of subtlety to it too. Like she had a very like she's like I'm going to offer the princess a gift, and then she could turn into a dragon in the next scene.
Yeah, yeah. It was like evil elegance. It was strange, but it
Yeah.
was nice. Did you ever see Maleficent, the new movie?
No, with um
Angelina Jolie.
yeah, Jolie. No.
Oh, okay. It's
Was it
it's okay.
was it alright?
It's worth seeing, but like it's not like my favorite movie, but it's worth seeing. It's kind of interesting. It's a cool like twist on it. It's almost like the whenever I was a kid, we were tasked with telling a story from a different angle. It had to be like some famous story. So I did the Three Little Pigs, and I did it from the wolf's point of view, and like I tried to paint him as a hero, and I
Hmm.
still remember that to this day, like because it actually went over pretty well with my teacher.
Yeah, there's a
She,
famous children's story called "The True Story of the Three Little Pigs," and it's narrated by the Big Bad Wolf, and he's talking about how it's just all a big misunderstanding, and he had allergies, and he's just going to borrow
allergies.
a cup of sugar from the neighbors, and he accidentally sneezed, and then the pigs were dead, and you don't just leave like food lying around. Like if you saw a cheeseburger just lying there, you eat it. Like it's wasteful not to. So yeah, he ate
Yeah.
the pigs, but he didn't mean to kill them.
Yeah, I made them like little dickheads, and they had like Brooklyn accents. They're like, "Oh, get off the lawn!" It just, gosh, that was English, but yeah, in mine they were like,
Cockney Brooklyn.
it was a story of justice and revenge.
Nice.
But because pigs, they kind of assholes, I'm sure. But anyway, yeah, so that's fun.
So the last person on the list was Frank Welker playing Dr. Claw, because
From uh,
Inspector
Spectre
Gadget. Yeah.
Gadget.
He also played Megatron in the Transformers cartoon, but it was Dr. Claw that won it for them. And the way they justified it was, Inspector Gadget is like a really goofy and lighthearted show, but Dr. Claw sounds like he crawled out of hell that morning and started burning people alive. Like he's got this insanely evil voice, and they made the point that if Gadget wasn't totally silly in every other aspect, like this voice would be giving us nightmares to this day. Like if they just made that show darker and had that same voice actor.
Okay. Huh. I don't really like his work, but I get their point as far as like iconic voices. I
Yeah, I
wouldn't have
think
went there, but whatever.
I would have included the guy that played David Xanatos on the old Gargoyles movie, Jonathan Frakes. I would have put him on the list if I were doing it.
Huh. Okay. Who would I put? I guess. Man, I don't know. There's very few people who pull that off well, so it's difficult to say. I like one character, an actual actor I like as a bad guy is Jason Isaacs. He was the bad guy in The Patriot. He was the bad guy. He was in the Harry Potter movies. He's the main Slytherin, the dad, Malfoy's dad or whatever, Drake Malfoy
Oh yeah, Lucius
plays
or
him.
Lucius or something.
Something like that. Yeah, I like that guy. He's got like these like cold blue eyes and like he just pulls off evil well. So I like him. I like him better as a bad guy than a good guy.
Yeah, no, he's got that kind of intelligent face. So,
Yeah.
and we kind of naturally distrust intelligence anyway. So you're like, oh, what's he up to? What's he thinking about? He's too smart. He's thinking about something evil, I bet.
Do we? I saw something about on Reddit. Okay, somebody said, "Hey, I'm from America, and I hear that we're weird or whatever. Could people from other cultures point out things in our culture that's weird?" And one of the things was there was a lot, but they were like privatized prisons. That's weird. For-profit prisons, in other words.
Yeah.
And they said like the corruption, the open corruption of like lobbying with money. Like lobbying is fine if you're gonna go talk to people, but like buying time to politicians is weird. And like they said that they don't understand that with Americans and why we put up with that shit. But another one was intelligence. Like they say some of your like you guys are known as like one of the most scientifically literate or not scientifically literate, scientifically capable countries. You've got you guys come up with like all the best modern medicine. Like you put people on the moon. You've got the best robust space station, or at least you did. Or I mean, space program. You guys have everything correct. But even your titans, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, is the reason why he's so popular is because he can quote unquote dumb it down. That's like a valuable thing here. And they said that's weird because our people try to sound smart, and and then we praise them if they do sound smart. If we're like, whoa, I can't understand that, we give them high fives. But you guys say, whoa, I can't understand that. I don't like you. You make me uncomfortable.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
I think we innately distrust intelligence in this country. There's like, why did people vote for Bush? Not because he was an A student, because he wasn't. It was because they felt like they could buy a beer and just like chill with them, and not feel intimidated.
One of the most lying presidents in the history of whether you agree with his tactics or not. Like at the time, I would have voted for Bush. I don't vote, but at the time I was a hardcore Republican. But I still was like, man, that guy lies all the time. He is such a liar. But yeah, that's funny. Of course, I didn't like Bill Clinton either. So
I mean, it goes back to like even like the cliche of like, well, I'm just a poor country lawyer, but even I know. And then the jury's like, well, I too am a simple man. He's compelling.
Yeah, it's like people don't want to think that like somebody can like be pulling strings on them, without them knowing. Nobody likes being
distrust because if someone's smarter than you, then they might be tricking you.
Yeah, but that's dumb. That's like if someone's stronger than you, he might beat me up. Like if a big guy gets an elevator, I'm not like, oh shit, that guy's gonna beat the shit. Like, he could. It's possible he's a bad guy, but if he's not a bad guy, then I'm being a dickhead.
Well, I don't have a lot of fancy book learning, but in my experience as a poor country boy, I'd say you should prosecute this man. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm also a poor country boy.
Yeah, like you can take it at face value. But the funny thing is, I mean, that Southern charm is they use that as a weapon as much as anyone else. They were talking about that in one of my classes, like the fact that like because they were saying like are women in the South inherently less powerful in society because there's a lot of stigmas in the South of like the woman shouldn't get a real job, they should stay at home and raise the kids. A lot of those things are kind of those values are really big down here. And but somebody made an argument. There was a girl who got up there and she said, no, they're more like Scarlett O'Hara's, where and I don't agree with the fact that Scarlett O'Hara was a heroine. I think she did horrible things, but at least she had some power. I think she celebrated because she was powerful.
Yeah, but, she was kind of a horrible person. That's why the ending's so great.
Yeah, and psychologically, like that girl is fucked up. Like she's not a heroine. Girls don't look up to her. Like take her spirit, the fact that she was like like a driven,
fighter.
That's good. Yeah, take that away, but definitely don't take away your tactics. But some girl made this argument that they do it with their womanly wiles. Like they'll get their way.
Yeah, the power behind the throne kind of thing.
Yeah, but still, I was like, well, okay, but that's like saying Tyrion is the power in the Red Keep.
It's a precarious position. Like even if you are manipulating things at some point, you might end up in a dungeon or exiled. Next minute.
Or Varys. Let's say Varys is the most powerful person. He might be, but as soon as someone says that out loud, he's dead. That's real. It's like when Cersei turned around and said, "This is real power," and she got her guards to seize him, which wasn't in the books. I don't think, but it's a brilliant part in the show.
It's like saying like being the Queen of England is like the power behind the throne. It's like but if the king is King Henry VIII, you probably will lose your head. So you don't have real power. It's soft power at best.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be my argument. But whatever. Far be it from me. I hate to talk for women. I got yelled at for that on a Facebook. Jesus Christ. Anyway, these people were like, "Don't you dare visit your intentions upon me," and I was like, "I have not heard upon in common parlance in a long time, my friend. Thank you." And beyond that, I was saying you guys are awesome. I don't know why that would be offensive, other than the fact that you're just a piece of shit. Anyway, whatever.
It's a touchy subject for sure.
But, it is. Man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think going back to that, it might have roots in our democratization. Like democracy is a huge value for Americans, and inherent in that is the idea that everybody's opinions are equal because everybody's equal. And so when people elevate themselves as philosophers or academics, it's like they're saying that well, my opinion's more important because I spent 6 years training in this subject. It's like, well, who are you to tell me how to avoid cancer just because you went to medical school? Like, my opinion's also important. Like, it's the kind of dark side of democracy in that we fetishize the idea that everyone's equal so much that we start to think everyone's opinions are equal on every subject.
That is an interesting take. My interpretation was about our cultural sense of independence. We have this idea that carve out my piece of land and I live on it. The whole stand your ground kind of thing. But it's I mean, it's a myth. It's a myth. We can't live by ourselves. Like that can't
Yeah.
happen. If you were the last person on Earth, you'd be dead quick. Because we just can't. There's things you don't like modern medicine, like roads, like all the things that you do. That's why I justify taxes. I mean, we get a lot of money taken out for taxes because we just hit like a new tax bracket, and
Yeah.
yeah. But actually, I mean, in all honesty, I'm glad I make more money. So fuck those people who complain about that all the time. They're like, oh, I wish I just made
I know.
less. I'm
It's
like,
like, well, then
bullshit.
just make less then. No, I
Yeah,
still like money. It's like
yeah,
no one's
exactly.
forcing you to work that many hours. If you want to be a smaller tax bracket, work
And,
less.
yeah, and if you see success as like, a slow accumulation of the people you've known putting in time for you and people doing things like I couldn't be as successful as I am in my work if Amy didn't fill in a lot of gaps for me here at the house. And
Right.
she works too. I'm not saying that like she need to stay at home because I don't think anyone should jeopardize their career for the other person unless they really just want to. Because I mean, there's people who don't want to work. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
But
I would love to be a stay-at-home wife.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I hate kids. That would not work out for me. I'm a teacher. I hate kids.
Oh well, maybe one of them listens to the podcast and now they
Yeah.
know. But yeah, I thought it was that independence thing of like, like I bootstrap, pull myself up on my bootstraps kind of thing. And if you see someone who is better than you, that's like a direct independence. Like almost has this idea of competition, and competition's real big in our competitive market at least is real big in our ethos.
So it's
So I
like a
was
threat to your success if someone else is smarter.
yeah, and it's like instead of saying it was like a community of like, let's say like me in my neighborhood, there's one person who's a who makes a lot of money in our neighborhood, right? Like I'm not a big neighborhood guy, but imagine Leave It to Beaver era, like where everybody's outside in their lawn. Hey, Joe, watering your cat again,
Yeah,
or
he
whatever.
had barbecues and all the neighbors
Yeah,
come over and
yeah, exactly, like block parties and stuff. I don't live on a street like that, but if we did, and one person was extremely wealthy, like you would think you'd be like, whoa, all of our land values is going to go up now because they'll probably have improvements on their house. They're not going to have like a bunch of dead cats and furniture out in this lawn. Lowering
yeah,
that.
I hate that
Like
dead cat property plummet that happens.
it's so correlated with dead cats, but yeah, no, I mean it's true. You get the land value goes down depending on your neighbors, and so like instead of celebrating that, I feel like our American tendency would be to shit on them and be like,
Yeah.
oh man, so much more.
Or at,
When can
or
we
at
make that
best,
money?
like try to keep up with the Joneses and go into debt
Yeah.
trying to match them. Yeah, I don't know. And then you have like people like George Lucas, who I used to think was an asshole, and now I just think he's just kind of dumb and like doesn't have people around him to tell him when his ideas are bad.
Yeah.
Like, did you
Yeah.
hear? Like, he sold Star Wars to Disney for $4.02 billion or something.
Okay.
And I was like, see, he was just in it for the money. And then he's like, fuck you, David. And the next thing he did was donate $4 billion to charity.
Wow.
Yeah, like he kept like $0.02 billion for himself, walking around money. But the $4 billion, the big chunk of change, he just picked it all up, put it in a little bag, wrote for charity on it, gave it to education.
Holy cow. Okay. Wow. I did
Yeah,
not
so
know
I'm like,
that.
wow, maybe he was not an asshole. Like I just think I used to just think like, oh well, he's making piles of money, so who cares? Like that's what he's motivated by. And I'm not saying he's poor by any means. He still has plenty of money. He's at a point where he's like, well, what do I do with all this money? So yeah, it's not like if I donated $1,000, that'd be a bigger sacrifice for me than what he did with $4 billion.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But that being said, I think he just doesn't like in the 70s. He had the people around him who said no, that's bad. Pull it back a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I think he just got a big ego after Star Wars success, and there was nobody around to stop him in the prequels from like just throwing whatever he wanted in there. And
Oh man.
but he
Yeah,
just like a good, if egotistical, and maybe not the brightest guy.
Yeah. Originally, the Star Wars. You've heard about all the original ideas he had, right? Like,
Yeah, Star
the
Killer.
lightsabers were supposed to be powered by backpacks with like weird little filters on them, which that's fine. But then things like the fact that like what was his name? Star Killer was supposed to be his name, right? Something
Yeah,
like
and
that. I
Han
mean,
Solo was like a weird alien with like a weird
Yeah.
face, and yeah, like
there's a lot of ideas that like people I think in his production studio are probably like, yeah, but what if it was just a regular guy? Maybe get that Harrison Ford dude. He's pretty charming. Yeah,
Right.
that's like Harrison Ford was like he's like Nathan Fillion of Star Wars. Like he
Yeah.
sold that character so well that I
Mhm.
think Han Solo is in my mind is as big if not bigger than Luke Skywalker as far as like mythology for me.
Right.
Han Solo is like he's like a thing, and really, I mean, he's just kind of a bit part. I mean, he comes in and flies in and shoots one thing in the final battle on the first film, and he's like, "Go ahead and continue your hero's journey," but I'm like, "Yeah, Han Solo."
Yeah, no, I'm the same way, man. Remember my scoundrel in Star Wars: The Old Republic was Harrison Ford. Like, he even had a little scar on his chin.
Yeah, that did look like Harrison Ford, man. Hilarious. Whereas all my characters were exactly just me with different hairstyles.
It's just Jeremiah with like a clone trooper helmet on, and I was Harrison Ford.
But I love it. I love that. I love pretending, like, because for me, that's me. That it's like that.
I know,
Yeah,
and I always took the Wookiee companion, even though he was like not the best one. I was like, yeah, it's me and Chewie all the way.
Oh man, good times. I miss that game sometimes. It's still on my desktop because I refuse to delete the link.
Yeah, no, it's fun.
Anyway, wow, that was all news, I guess. So.
Yeah, got a little sidetracked.
More?
In the gaming experiences.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, well, welcome to the gaming experiences section where we talk about the games we've been playing. And so, David, last time, I have to know this every week. I just need to know, like, right away. I hope you keep me updated. Fantasy life, like, are you still cutting wood? So exciting.
Yeah, I actually became a master woodcutter now.
Wow.
So I can cut elemental trees. I've got a new spinning helicopter axe technique that really cuts them down in record time. I'm actually also a master miner, so if you need any mining done, I can do that pretty well. I've got a network of moles that help me find ore, and I'm working currently on becoming a master carpenter, but I got distracted with some tailoring. I actually might become a chef for a while. I've been toying with the idea of that or alchemy.
What the heck? Is this game only for the DS?
Yes, and it's amazing. I can't stop playing it. I've got better games, like AAA titles that need to be played. Like I've got, Dragon Age Inquisition is still on my computer. I've got Assassin's Creed. I've got tons of TV I could get caught up with. But I just find myself like just reaching over and like, oh, what's this? Am I just gonna go to the mines real quick and make sure all the nodes. Oh yeah, just got some silver. Okay. Every time I've got a minute, I've got this 3DS in my hand and I'm doing some mundane quotidian task.
Oh my god.
It's amazing.
So I'm gonna have to just stay away from that like the plague when I come visit because I don't. Those kind of games nail me too. I end up just playing them like crazy, and I never expect it. That's the worst. I don't schedule time. I just end up making time.
I know, and it fits in your pocket, so you've always got like you have no place where you're gonna be like efficient or get work done, right? Like I'll be grading papers. I'm like, it's in my pocket. I'm gonna go ahead and just pop it out real quick.
Yeah. I did that with because I did that with a book too. There's this book called The Pines. I don't know if I recommended that to you, but you should totally read it. It's amazing. But it was a little addicting, and then you could fit this tablet. I have a tablet, like a little small tablet that I got for free with my phone, so you can fit it in your back pocket. So I would just walk around with it, and I ended up just pulling it out all the time and reading it to the point where I wasn't doing anything else. I'd just get up and move somewhere, and then say a couple words to people and sit back down. But I know how that is. If it's right there with you, you're like, why would I not be doing this? Why would I just be sitting here waiting to talk to someone whenever I could be reading this awesome book or playing this awesome game?
So I've been doing a lot of that. I play a little Dragon Age Inquisition, but mostly it's just been lots of fantasy life.
It's so weird. Man, I finally played Tales from the Borderlands. I finished it.
Yeah, great. What'd you think?
That game was fun. Troy Baker being the main voice actor is amazing. And then whenever I heard, it took me a second for the female, the main female lead. She started talking, and I was like, I know that voice. And normally I can just spot it right away. So I don't know. And this one's iconic. I really should. I can't account for it. Why my weird, worthless superpower didn't kick in, but it took a second. And then I was like, that's Jaina. And then I turned to Amy, who was sitting next to me. I was like, that's Jaina. Listen, that's Jaina. And she's like, I guess. And I was like, it totally is. And I looked at the actress, and yeah, it turns out it was her. She also played Lust in the anime
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear that probably now.
Yeah.
That voice like this. I can't do it obviously, but it's that way of speaking.
That way of lengthening certain words.
Yeah. It's and what's funny is I listened to her because I was like, is that how she normally talks? But I went and watched an interview with her. No, she doesn't. She talks kind of normal. So that's like
a character
just a voice
that she's doing.
What's that?
It's just a character she's doing.
Yeah, she's doing it on purpose.
So beyond the voice acting, what do you think?
It was fun, just like you said. It's like kind of carefree. I'm really interested in how you decided, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone because it's a fun experience. I don't even give a shit about Borderlands, like,
Yeah, like
but
imagine playing that game and then immediately after playing Game of Thrones.
yeah, that would be a different
That was,
experience.
that was my experience. I was like, I'm so carefree and happy. Everything's great, and you're not stressing about the decisions. You're like, I don't know, everything's gonna work out. You're kind of like Pash in that Star Wars game we
Yeah.
played. You're like, everything's gonna work out in the end. Let's just go for it. And you're just like choosing things at random and trying to make the funny things happen. And
Oh my
and then
gosh.
you're in the world of Game of Thrones and everything sucks and your families are all gonna die.
Yeah, and that unreliable narrative, like you said, that caused a lot of like out loud laughter. That was hilarious. Like these recalls, you don't even know they're recalling a story, and then all of a sudden, like, you find out what happens. It's
Like,
hilarious.
wait, that never happened. And then the when Zero appears,
Yeah.
and one of your options, one of your dialogue options was like, "You're so awesome."
That's what I did.
Yeah,
Is
me
that what you
too.
picked?
Yeah. he just materializes, he, like decloaks and like stabs the guy who's about to kill you, and he does like that. Zero's like the overdone, like super cool, like ninja guy.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
and you're like, that was awesome.
Yeah, it's so funny because Troy Baker normally, like in my experience, he's played some serious roles, so it's fun to have him like be such a goofball in this.
And then Zero does a little like emoticon with the heart over his face.
Yeah. Oh god. Zero.
Oh,
I
and
couldn't even
Patrick
play Zero
Warburton
for
as like the douchebag corporate villain.
Oh yeah, which is like Kronk, you know. Hey, I want to call you about this. That guy, and he's so antagonistic. He's such a dick. He's like, I'm promoting you, and you're like, really? Yeah, I'm promoting you. Wow, that's really good of you. That's really, that's really taking the moral high ground. To senior janitor. And then as you're walking, you bump into the trash can, and it goes, and it's like, hey, paging senior janitor, which is now, and it says your name. And you're like, God, they already know, and they had to page it over the entire system.
So everybody knows.
It's so good, man. Like that game is pretty hilarious.
So how would you rate of the Telltale games that came out? Now that you played them all from 2014, how would you rate them?
I don't know. With this one, it was kind of surprises are always kind of a big deal. Like for me, because it's hard. Normally, it's hard to catch me off guard because I don't know. I kind of think about it beforehand. I'm like, oh, this is probably going to be like this. So whenever it's something totally different, like I always like, and the little reward center pops off my brain. I'm like, oh, how wonderful! So this one, yeah, so this one might be a little overinflated, but I don't know. It got good ratings, but I would say it's. No, I don't know, man. Like I really like the dark media, so I honestly don't even want to rank them. I'd say they're all like 9s or 10s. They're all just so good.
They're all tied depending on what you're looking for.
Yeah, and they all have their like good moments and bad moments. There's times where they kind of draw out, and you're like, "Come on, Telltale Games, what are you doing here? This is pacing. We're gonna be talking about this. It's a big deal."
Yes.
But it's fun. I really enjoyed it. I would recommend it to anyone. It's hilarious, and I'm excited about the next one. No, probably like. Well, did it come out at the same time as Game of Thrones?
Yeah, like the same week, I think.
Yeah, that one's unannounced too. Sometime in 2015, they said. That's all they left us with.
Nice.
That's too bad. What about you? Any other games besides Fantasy Life?
No, I've been. I got the new DM's guide for 5th edition D&D, so I've been kind of reading through that. It's really good. It's like system neutral. It's not so much about like mechanics as it is about world building and how to create pantheons and how to structure your adventures and how to like just really very useful for whatever game you're running kind of adventure building ideas.
Huh.
So I'm having fun just kind of flipping through it. Like I'm reading about how to develop an economic system right now, how to put different currencies in play.
Man, I've started to take like a lot of interest in like storytelling and like pacing like this, and like how to sell things like to people, because traditionally I was always this like almost Greek way of thought. Like when I was growing up, I would just say knowledge is the most important thing, and then just get all that content in there, and then success. That's a good life. But now I'm like, no. I think part of that is like getting that out to people, and people don't want to just sit and listen to someone say a bunch of things that they hoarded into their brain. Like you want to find a cool way to pitch that. Like Radiolab, some cool stuff. That podcast, some cool stuff I've learned from that, and they do it in a very like dumbed down manner. Like they're asking questions like, what does that even mean? And I'm like, oh, you thought about that? That's all just hand waving.
Yeah, we do that too, though. I'm like, well, Jeremiah, what do you mean when you say this psychological term? Could you explain that a little better?
It's true. It's true.
And you're
Theirs
like,
is a little
I
heavy,
literally
you know.
told you that a week ago, so I feel like you might be doing this for the audience.
Yeah, but it's helpful. I like it.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's good. It's no point. Like anyone can learn. It's harder to teach.
yeah, yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, that's definitely true. And I've taken an interest both because of therapy, like getting this information to people. I'm like, what don't you understand about that, or why aren't you applying these principles that we just talked about? And it's because I didn't sell it to them. They're like, well, it's important, and I'm like, no, it's super important. So you kind of have to like convince them of it, like kind of sell it to them, get them to question, come up with the stuff themselves. It's been a crazy journey for me to try to learn all this stuff, but it's fun, man. Like I really like it now. It's a whole art. It's fun. But yeah, I also played the last thing I really played was Dawn of War. Like I went back and installed those games. I don't know why. I love that genre so much, and they failed in the last few games. So I don't know. I just played it for just a bit. It wasn't even long, but got them all installed now. But I love it. I love the I don't know. It's just rich. It's very flavorful. Those games.
Very
But
pungent.
yes. Pungent.
Cool.
But anyway.
You been
Yeah.
anything,
So.
any other gaming?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, obviously Heroes, like I said. I always play Heroes. I played actually with the last night. Kind of a funny thing happened. I was playing last night with a couple people, and I started getting more and more of the competitive team that I play with.
Mm.
But we lost two people, and I was like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. And I think one of them was you. No, yeah, this is a little later in the night, but eventually, like one of the hosts of the podcast I listen to, they've done a ton of podcasts. They're like a whole family, the A-Move TV family, but one of them is Inside the Nexus, Into the Nexus, and it's about Heroes of the Storm, and it's these two guys who I've been listening to for a few years now, and one of they came online, and I was like, huh, let me just offer Craft Shoot send an invitation. So I sent an invitation, but they're kind of like almost like celebrities on that thing, so you rarely get to play with them because usually they get on, they play with other people. And but eventually one of them was like, yeah, sure, I'll jump on. And so he jumped on the team, and then he invited the other one. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'm going to play with the hosts. That's fun. So, like, I was kind of excited about that. We start playing. And then, like, usually when I talk, I mute my mic. Just hit the button if I'm going to talk to, like, Amy or someone, or if the kids come in. But then Amy said something. I think what she said was, like, hey, the kids got out of bed. Can you put them back in? And I clicked the button, but it didn't mute. And I turned around. I was like, oh, but Amy, I'm playing with the host of that cool podcast. And I was like, I don't want to look like a noob. And I turned back around, and it's definitely not like the little lights on. It's clearly like crystal clear on. And I was like, oh, fuck. Like I just felt so stupid. And I was like, yeah, so guys, let's go take that camp. Like I just tried to play it off.
Did they win anything?
Huh? No. He played it off kind of cool. It was just one of those moments where you just kind of move on. I want to make a joke about it, but it was an intense game, dude. Oh, that game was one of the best games I've ever played. We were losing handily. Like they got like 8 turn-ins in a row and just destroyed all of our like towers. Basically, they're winning this game by a lot. They basically just had to walk in and kill us, and we just YOLO'd at one point. We were just like, because we were all upset. People were like on the mic. You could tell we were a little agitated. We were like, oh, great, good, they turned in again, awesome. And then eventually, like, we're running across the map, and we catch one of them just off guard. And I was like, oh, my God, go on them. Yeah, moral victory, I even shouted out, because, we got 1 kill, and they were about to kill us. But our core got down to, like, 3%, and we're still alive. And I was like, what? And I was like, dude, let's just rush their core. And they had tons of buildings, but we did. We just ran past all the buildings, and we just started shooting it. And somehow we take the only engagement we ever win in that entire game. We had something like 37 deaths to like 4 kills, and somehow we killed their entire team and broke their core. We were freaking out, man. It was amazing. We shouldn't have won that game.
I hope you had a Robo-Goblin on the team.
I most certainly did not have a Robo-Goblin on the team. This was a competitive composition. Freaking Gaslow. But anyway, it's those moments, man, that makes competitive gaming so fun. Like those are like, man, once a month or something you get a game like that? But anyway, it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. So that was my gaming experience, and I got to look like an idiot right before I did it. So pretty
Nice.
fun. Oh, come on, Amy.
These guys are super cool. They let me play with the cool kids.
I finally got invited to the cool kids party. Don't embarrass.
Oh, Mom, don't embarrass me.
Yeah, it's like that a tweet I sent out where I said, hey, Grandma, yeah, come on back and pick me up from the rap battle. Yeah, it's over. The other guy won. He saw you drop me off, and he made a pretty devastating rhyme about it. It's like that. That was basically me over the over the mic. Oh god, I feel like such an idiot. But anyway, so that humility can drive us on to the next section, which is the in-depth analysis.